What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Jesse talks all things TDCJ and military. I'm your host, Jesse. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a little while since I did a video. I had to take a little break. Last couple of weeks were just absolutely brutal. I was the lead class advisor for this last class, and it was daunting. But we're done. We're past. It's Sunday. It's beautiful outside. What we're here for today is to talk about what I said I was going to talk about in one of my previous videos. We talked about a piece of literature that's been banned all throughout TDCJ facilities called 48 Laws of Power. Now, I made an error in the last video that I did. I said 41 laws. I'm sorry. I left out 7 of them. So, let's get right into it. Right here. What's so dangerous about this? It's just a book. I mean, yeah, you can hit somebody with it. It ain't gonna leave no bruises. But the material that's contained inside this book, depending on who uses it, it's just dangerous. Little backstory. First time I heard about this book was in the academy. We were going over contraband, inmate games, and Sergeant Fisher talked about a book that was no longer allowed inside any of the TDCJ facilities called 48 Laws of Power. I kind of tuned out from there. Didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. Our class leader mentioned that he had read that book when he was in college. And I was like, what kind of college degree was this guy going for? Working for TDC? Whatever it was, he decided to make a career out of working in the prison with a college degree. Not knocking that. Personally, if I had one, I probably would have chose a different path. He mentioned it and talked about how dangerous it was, the hidden meanings behind everything. We should all look into getting a copy of that. And I said, okay, I'll try that out. Logged on to Amazon, found me a copy of it. It was only about $20. Had it sent to me. When I got home that weekend, when I was at the academy, I lived at the barracks there. As it went on, I stayed in a hotel. I'd go home on the weekends. When I got home, it was waiting for me. It didn't take too long to ship it. I took the book out, and I was like, okay, it's bigger than I thought it was. Official title, 48 Laws of Power, written by Mr. Robert Greene, national bestseller, whatever that means, and it was originally published in 1998. On the back of it, I can't read the book to you guys. Not only would that be absolutely horribly boring, and the few of you that I have subscribed would unsubscribe to it, I'm just going to hit some topics. Back of it, we've got his brief description of the book, and then I know you can't see the words, I can't show it, but it lists each one of the 48 laws of power. When you go into it, you've got the table of contents, and it lists each one of them, and it gives the description, words, pal, of each one of the laws. Now, why has it been banned from TDCJ? The teachings from this book, depending on how an individual uses it, can be extremely manipulative. I'm not going to read a whole lot from it. If anybody wants to look into it, you can order your own copy. I got mine. You can tell, what is it? It's a Penguin book, penguinputnam.com, or you can just go to Amazon and get it like I did. The teachings in this book are just absolutely dangerous. The meanings behind them. I'll read a couple of the names of the laws, and then one that I picked out in particular I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to answer a specific question that a viewer had for me. So, number 1, never outshine the master. Number 2, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Number 3, this is the one I picked out. Conceal your intentions. And then it goes on down from there. I'm going to read a little excerpt that I picked out from the book. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. All rights go to the author of the book. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you're up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. That right there sounds like the bread and butter from just about every trustee, every SSI that I ever dealt with. You always heard that saying, the wolf in sheep's clothing, the guise of the wolf in sheep. Pause for hydrate. The dangerous part of that law, it talks about the transgressions of the law, how it works out, keys to the power, interpretation, different ways that it can be interpreted. How does it apply to a prisoner, a convict inside prison? Well, they're masters of manipulation. They'll manipulate someone in any ways that they can. The easy one to spot is the one who's going to MF you all day. You know to watch out for that individual. The one to not really, I don't want to say not really, the one that you should never trust or especially be wary of is the friendly guy. Come here, boss. You look like you're having a day. I'm going to take care of you. Tell me what's going on, man. The one that draws you in. It's going to use manipulation. It's going to use all kinds of tactics. Get that individual, let their guard down, and when it's time, they're going to strike. How they learn how to do it is through each other, through a lot of the teachings of this book. So, if it's banned, how do people know about it? At one point, it wasn't banned. It was just another piece of literature that was allowed inside the prison. It floated in and out everywhere until it was used enough, until it was officially placed on the ban list. It's considered contraband. Contraband is anything that has been altered from its intended use, and it goes from there. It's a broad interpretation. It could be something so small as officer goes to the commissary, buys an energy drink, Powerade, Gatorade, whichever. They drink it, fill it back up with water, and then they drink that. That bottle was intended for that energy drink and then to be thrown away. You fill it back up with water, it stays with contraband. I brought contraband into the facility every day because I always had a water bottle with me. Hey, use it for what it is. Because of the way individuals were using all the laws in this book and the way that they were teaching and training each other in its manipulative factors, it was just so dangerous, it wasn't allowed anymore. Yet individuals who would handwrite this book, they had nothing better to do but to sit and write it out on pieces of paper or anything they could get in, because they knew that all those copies of it were going to be confiscated. Sometimes they would write it out in code, write it in ways that they could recognize, train individuals to recognize the code, because if an officer who was supposed to find the book, discard it, if they found any of the notes, they were supposed to confiscate those and throw them away. You had individuals who read the book so much they had it memorized. And when they could, and they still do, they would teach the younger inmates the laws of these, how they apply, how to use them, and it would spread from there. My opinion, this book is an absolute cancer inside the facility. So you're sitting there going, well, Carter, why are you putting it on your show, man? You're broadcasting it out to everybody. Now, it's already well known. It doesn't matter if I say anything about it or if I don't. Inmates know about it. Officers know about it. There's no hiding or concealing it. So I'm not doing any kind of disservice by talking about this book. I had a brief conversation about an individual who was looking forward to the video talking about this book. I want to read from it. I can't because of copyright laws. Also, it would just be extremely dangerous to read from it. So, disclaimer that I'm going to put out. This book is very easy to get. You go to Amazon, type it in, eBay, Etsy, whatever kind of buying site that you're into, you can easily buy this book. If you do buy it, you read it, and you think of it from an inmate perspective, it should scare you. Okay, it should make the hairs on the back of your neck start to tingle, because in the hands of the wrong individual, the teachings that are in this can just be deadly. They really can. I wish I could say more about it. It's just, it's dangerous. If you're interested, get it and read it. I'm going to hydrate, and then I'll answer a viewer's question. Regarding military, I had an individual ask me about the significance of the beaded chain that I wear. Apparently it's always on my neck. It's been visible in some of my videos, I guess. And I had somebody, actually a couple of somebodies, ask me about the significance of the chain. What is it? Yada, yada. So I'll answer that. Ever since 1999, when I joined the Marine Corps, we were issued out our identification tags, known throughout the world affectionately as a dog tag, and that's what I still call it to this day. It's got information on it. Beaded chain, because it's easy to break away. If somebody were to try to grab and pull, it'll snap, can break easy. Can't specifically use it as a weapon. The tag itself is held on by, I don't know if you can see, the tag itself is held on by a smaller chain. That keeps it from riding up the neck. It lets it quickly just drop back down to the bottom of it, because it gets real annoying if it's up on the neck. And it's got some basic information to it. It has my name, branch of service, U.S. Coast Guard right now. Didn't always say that. It has my service ID number, blood type, and religious preference. Blood type, so that way if on the fly, you may need a transfusion. Don't know how that's going to happen, but it's there. More importantly, religious preference. If an individual, me specifically, has ever needed to be given last rites, it's right there and it's ready. That really became prevalent during the World Wars, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Not so much Desert Storm, because of the lack of impact of the combat nature of it. And it really gained importance back after the events of 9/11. For a while, I wore a stainless steel cross attachment to the tag. I'm going to go ahead and put it up. I don't like leaving it out where it can be seen. For a while, I wore a stainless steel cross attachment to it. 3 years ago, I took that off and gave it to an individual who is no longer with us. This individual needed it a lot more than I did. So it's now serving its purpose with that individual. I'm sorry to go down in the dark, in the deep, but that's the story on that. I had an individual ask me to tell about some of my wildest military stories, and as I think back to a lot of them are pretty difficult to tell, and the emotion that they bring up can be really difficult to talk about. I'm already kind of feeling it. So, anyway, folks, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you're interested in the book, please look into it. It is a really good read. If you don't take it in its manipulative factors and you don't think of it in the hands of a convict, it's got a lot of good reads in it. And it doesn't read like a typical novel. Think of it like an anthology series type. I highly recommend it to anybody who is interested in learning about how an inmate would use it for its manipulative factors. For those of you who've asked about inmate games, offender manipulation, how do they learn it? Where do they get it from? Read this book. and it'll shed some light on some of that. Sorry, still feeling from what we talked about earlier. Anyway, hope everyone has had a great weekend. Hope you keep having a good rest of the weekend. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. Everyone take care. Carter's out.